Welcome back. Mr. President, the Wellness and Recreation Center is not the only new facility on campus.
No, in fact, we've opened our new School of Nursing facility. Most people don't know that we actually educate, we have the largest graduating classes of nurses going into our hospitals in the state of California.
Wow.
And over 350 we graduate a year. So we get a new School of Nursing facility, as well as a $120 million Hall of Science that started 3.5 years ago that we'll be able to move equipment in January, probably be open for the summer. This will give us probably the most exciting and newest science complex in the western coast.
Fantastic. So good news even in tough times.
Well, and we secured these funds. These funds were secured long before the economy crashed. So timing meant everything to us, and we're real lucky now to be opening these facilities, because if this had happened when the economic crash had hit, we wouldn't have none of these new facilities would be in place. Let's
shift gears for a second and talk about a subject near and dear to my heart, which is the Distinguished Speaker Series at California State University, Long Beach. This is the 4th year we've had the program. This year we are having none other than Arianna Huffington as our distinguished speaker, and the program is on Thursday, October 21st at 7:30 p.m. in the Carpenter Performing Arts Center. Ms. Huffington just came out with her 13th book, Third World America, and there's a lot of excitement and buzz in town. If you want to order tickets, you can go to the website www.distinguishedspeakerseries.com. But give our viewers a sense of what the Distinguished Speaker means to the campus, this program.
I think great universities have events of this nature where we bring in some of the top, most notable people talking about politics, talking about other issues, people that have played important roles in transforming dialogue nationally. And we've done this now for 4 years, and you've actually made it work for us, Art. We appreciate everything that you've done, and so this is another opportunity to expose our area, local area, to some of the national speakers that are and the type of dialogue that's going on nationwide.
And our co-founder, Doug Robinson, Vice President of Student Services, was there from the ground up.
Yeah, it's actually we encourage everybody to come and participate, and it's a fantastic event, not just for the university but for the Long Beach and region and community.
So save Thursday night, October 21st, to hear Ms. Huffington. We should have close to 1,000 people at the Carpenter Center, and hopefully you will be joining us. Let's talk about the future and the impact of pending federal legislation on the problem of higher education and funding.
Well, currently there's a commission, national commission, that's been put in place involving some of the higher education leaders in North Carolina, Maryland, and New York and Texas to really study why college costs or expenditures keep rising like they are. We welcome this discussion because we're on the low end of everything. And we want the federal government to go from a mission-blind funding system to more of a mission-based funding system, where they actually find out which institutions are serving the greatest public good, which institutions are providing efficient, high-quality degrees, which institutions are being the most affordable to their students and leaving only 1/3 of them in debt as opposed to 80%, which is going on nationwide. If they turn their attention to universities that are providing widespread public benefit and the types of things that I just mentioned, I do believe we'll reform new funding policies at the federal level to provide resources to those institutions themselves.
And Cal State Long Beach would be the beneficiary of those additional resources.
We would be one of the many beneficiaries because we've remained committed to our low-income populations, where there are only 4 large universities in the country that have a larger percentage of Pell recipients. Unfortunately, we don't get any resources to educate those students. They just get a Pell Grant to pay for themselves, and then we have to find the resources to put them in the right programs. If the federal government would adopt almost a federal Title I program for higher education like they did K-12 and support those institutions, I think it could dramatically change the way institutions serve our public and the types of students that many of our institutions are serving today.
I should mention that our guest is a recognized expert in the field of higher education finance. He got his PhD in that field, and he is regularly called upon by congressional and state committees to testify on behalf of public institutions generally on this important subject.
Well, it is very important, and in fact, if we had simply just funded what we authorized in 1972, we would have alleviated this problem by creating a cost of education allowances that would then give us some resources to help educate and graduate the neediest students in America.
Do you see optimism at the state or federal level for the legislators buying this appeal?
We've found a lot of support from numerous, including George Miller, who's very powerful and chair of the House Labor and Education Committee, John Tierney in Massachusetts, and even Senator Kennedy before he passed away. Started seeing sort of the light, as I mentioned, regarding the type of future developments we need to make. Tom Harkin, Senator Harkin in Iowa, is also, and his staff are very much engaged in this type of direction. We just need to find the resources to fund it.
I hesitate to do this, but if you can tie it to national security, there always seems to be a money pot. And I know President Eisenhower tied the highway system, called it the Highway Defense System or something, tied it to national security and got funding for that. And if we can link it, and we are competing with our Chinese brethren and others, and an educated workforce is the key to the future. So our national security, in a sense, ultimately is at stake. Well,
it is at stake, and the fact of the matter, people say, well, there's no money anywhere. Well, this is nothing more than social choices that we make as a society. And I know that we're pulling out of Iraq right now. That should help us bring down some of the costs of what we've been sending overseas. But for 2 years of spending in Iraq, we could have rebuilt every school in America.
Just think about that for a second. That is an astounding figure.
And in a place like California, where funding for our schools and has never been worse, and the numbers that our schools are dealing with today, we really need to understand and reprioritize what we think is important to this nation, and invest in the generations that are on their way, because it'll pay off in multiplier effects for everybody, and those are spillover effects.
To use an old quote, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. We'll be right back with the remaining portions of our show. Stay with us.
Welcome to McKenna's on the Bay, where fine dining is complemented with a breathtaking view. McKenna's is a restaurant of incredible ambiance, providing service and cuisine with style, class, and romance. The menu offers a variety of appetizers, serious seafood, prime steaks, an oyster bar, and specialty entrees for either lunch or dinner. McKenna's on the Bay features patio dining, nightly entertainment, and 2 banquet facilities. No matter what your occasion, McKenna's on the Bay is like being on vacation. Join us today at McKenna's on the Bay.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree, when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember: Polly's. 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
The title of our show is Leadership in Tough Times as it applies to the university. And I think difficult times call for the best in leaders. And I, as a faculty member here for the last 35 years, feel very fortunate that we have a leader of the caliber of Dr. Alexander in any time, but particularly in these difficult times. So I want to thank you for all you do on behalf of students in the community.
Well, we've got a great community, and our campus is a great campus family, and we get through it together, and that's the only way I can see us getting through this year and the coming years as well.
And I know you know well the mayor of Long Beach, Bob Foster, who was our guest last week, and he's facing tough times in the city, but there is a synergism between the city and the university.
There's a wonderful town-gown partnership. In many ways, we're becoming, many years ago, the university was seen very separate from the city itself. And this is not just a city with a university in it. We're becoming a university city, which is a good thing.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you, Mr. Perez, for joining us.
Thank you, Art.
And thank you at home for being our guest. And please be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by Southern California Edison, the Press Telegram, and Long Beach Magazine. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable worldwide 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.